The Michael Berry Show.
We're all in a place at a time where we're supposed to be. And you just never know when you're going to have an opportunity to change or even save a life. Liberty County Sheriff's Office posted yesterday. On April 16th, 2025, Deputy Austin Wisman was headed home from an extra job when he observed a vehicle occupied by a male driver who was driving erratic. Deputy Wisman conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle for the traffic violation. Ramon, can you ask him if it's Wisman or Wiseman? It's Wisman. Upon contacting the driver and only occupant of the vehicle, Deputy Wisman could tell that the driver was very emotional and appeared to be distressed. So he asked the driver if he was okay. The driver began speaking with Deputy Wisman and explained to him that he had just retired from the military after serving for 22 years. He then told Deputy Wisman that his wife of 19 years had just left him and that he was having a very bad night to the point that he was planning on taking his own life when he got home. Deputy Wisman sat on the side of the road and spoke with the male for several minutes to help him take a different path. By the end of the conversation, the male looked at Deputy Wisman and told him that he was his saving angel. The male also told Deputy Wisman that had it not been for his kindness and compassion in the situation he was in, that he would have gone home and carried out his plans of ending his own life. The morning after the stop, Deputy Wisman was informed by his lieutenant that the male from the traffic stop had brought him a gift and a note. The male gave Deputy Wisman an official U.S. Naval True North compass that was presented to him at his last post as chief. The note read as follows: Austin, sometimes when we're fighting demons, God sends us help. I was in a hurry to complete a mission, but you stopped me, and you lent a kind ear. You treated me with compassion, dignity, and respect. Popo, he said, Popo, get a bad rap these days, but you're the kind we need. Please accept this coin as a small token of my gratitude. Deputy Austin Wisman of the Liberty County Sheriff's Department. I don't know whether to say congratulations, wow, baby, I'm amazed. I don't know how to react. That's incredible. Just incredible.
It's a good feeling to know,
Are you a
that I was
veteran?
able to. I am not. No, sir.
How long have you been a sheriff's deputy?
I'm right at 6.5 years.
What made you want to serve?
My sister, actually being my role model that she is, she's a cop as well. And when I was in high school, is when she started her law enforcement career, and I just remember seeing her in uniform one day, and I was like, man, that's really cool. I want to do that. And so I just kind of followed in her footsteps.
And what is your usual shift? What time did this happen? And what is your usual? I mean, I guess you serve on a day shift, and then you have an extra job in the evening.
So yes, I typically work a 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. shift. That extra job was actually a church revival I was working, and I was headed home from that. And I was headed home. It was about 10 p.m. I'm never out that late. So,
do you allow yourself to listen to the sermon at the revival and clap along, or do you try to just not listen so that you stay focused on the core mission?
I typically pay attention to working because that's what I'm there for. I will listen, but my mind stays focused on I'm here for a job.
And how often do you work that extra job?
That one was it's not that often. They just happened to be in town that week.
Do you have other extra jobs?
So, I do. I don't work any churches. I just do traffic control stuff.
And that's for Liberty County or for other counties or just like
it's in Chambers County.
Uh-huh.
It's just a little side gig. That's all.
Okay. What do you like most about being a sheriff's deputy?
Well, when I started this, because I've got a past like most people do, when I started this, I always wanted to be different, and the help I needed before I was a cop was what I wanted to offer people, go the extra step and go the extra mile and let people feel like they actually have someone that has their back, not someone that just feels annoyed or someone that doesn't care.
An interesting perspective. Hold with me for just a moment. Austin Wisman, Liberty County Sheriff's Deputy, is our guest. Tell me what happened that night.
I was driving home from my extra job, and I looked at my rear view and I saw this truck just flying up on me. So I hit my back lights just to say, hey, cop sitting here, going a little fast. And this truck, he just didn't let up. He just blew my doors off. And I was like, well, I can't turn a blind eye to that. So I conducted a traffic stop on him. He pulls over, and I walk up to the truck, and I give him the spill of why I'm stopping him. And I could tell he was upset. But, I mean, most people don't like getting pulled over. So, I asked him for his identification and all that, and he hands it to me, and I could tell this was more than just I got pulled over, I made a small mistake. I could tell there was actually something wrong. So I just asked him, is everything okay? And he was just, for a second, he was like, not really talking back, and then I was like, man, he's finally like, I'm having a really bad night. I just kind of stood there, and I was like, well, what's going on? I've been doing this long enough. I know whenever you can stop being a cop and you can start being a person, you can tell when someone's just legitimately just having a bad night. So we just sat there and we talked, and he just told me about his time he was in the military, and he just retired, and he was with his wife for almost his entire military career, and she decided she was up and leaving him. And he told me, he was upset, and he was like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna end this. And I was like, well, there's different paths. Let's find a different way other than that. We can, there's definitely something better. So we sat there and we talked and brought up other things that's worth living for. And at the end of it, he was like, God put you here, you're my saving angel. I feel like you were meant to be here to stop me tonight from going home and doing what I plan on doing. So, and I got his phone number that night, and I told him, like, I'm gonna reach out to you tomorrow. I wanna check on you. And I did. I ended up talking to him the next day, and that was after he had dropped off the coin and the note at the sheriff's office that my lieutenant gave me. And I called him, and the first thing he said was, he was like, hey, man, did you get that coin? And I was like, yeah, I did. I was like, you didn't have to do that. I really appreciate it. And he explained to me, what that coin meant. And I was like, man, that's awesome, But, that was it.
So when the Liberty County Sheriff's Department posted the story on Facebook, what happened from there?
Well, I got Employee of the Month. The sheriff, during our monthly meeting, read it out. My sergeant sent in to the sheriff and was like, this is a really good deed, and I think, Deputy Wisman should get Employee of the Month for this. And so they gave it to me, and they shared just the story on Facebook. The sheriff does that from time to time. He likes to share certain things, or however, and so he shared it, and I was like, that's cool. I like that, because it is a good feeling to know that you did something good, especially in a time where, cops are just looked down on, like we're the bad guys now. And it blew up so big that I actually called my sergeant last night, and I was like, this is blowing up to be huge, like way bigger than I ever thought it was going to be. And it just took me by surprise, because because I don't do this job for the recognition. I don't do it for pats on the back. I do it to serve, to help my community better, and just to be a public servant. Give back where I can, and just do what I can to be better. And be there for anyone that needs it. So for this to blow up the way it did, and everyone just seeing all the good comments of everyone just saying, good for you, and I feel like it's putting a little faith back in us, in law enforcement, to know that not all of us are bad, and I like that, because not all of us are bad. Most of us are good, and there's just bad apples, and we're not out here just to be ticket riders and take people to jail. And I want people to remember too, even with this story, that at the end of the day, I'm a guy with a job to do, but I can still reason with you, and I can get down on your level as a person, and we can figure this out together.
That veteran agreed to come on for a minute or so and just share his thoughts as to how he felt after you arguably saved his life. Take it away, my man.
Thanks, Michael. Well, first of all, I've already talked to Austin, and he knows how much I appreciate him, but I'll take this opportunity to thank him again. He talks about how there's bad apples out there, and there's bad apples in every community, and sometimes they give the whole community a bad name, but Austin is an example of one of the good ones. And yeah, I said Popo. It was kind of to be silly, but also
that's what I say.
To tell him, like, well, he's real. He's a genuine person, and he told me last night that he was a little bit uncomfortable with the kind of recognition that he was getting for this and how much it was blowing up. And often it's the ones who don't seek the accolades who deserve them the most. And so, Austin, God bless you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job out there. And Michael, for you, just thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for sharing Austin's story and my story, because at the end of the day, we get so much negative publicity for our people in uniform, and it's good for people to be out there highlighting the ones that are actually doing good out there. So God bless the both of you. Thank you for this opportunity.
I'm a big believer, veteran, that when your life is saved or spared, that's God's way of saying, now live in my service from here on out. I have given you a second chance. And keep that in mind with every single thing you do going forward, and let that drive your decisions, and be a servant of God, a servant of others. Be a person. You and I talked about you joining a church after all this happened, but let that guide your life, heal your pain, make you the next Austin Wisman for somebody else somewhere down the road. That would be my prayer for you guys. Thank you for being on with us. I hope a lot of officers heard this and will think differently next time they make a stop. I hope a lot of people who are stopped will realize that guy's there to help, not hurt. He really is just trying to go home to his own family.
I dropped. Then I found
The Michael Berry Show.
I recommend it and use it.